I've
done it,
Is that the first time I've ever done that? No. Okay. Apologies for absences, Vic.
Thanks, Chairman. We have apologies from Councillor Chan.
Thank you. And do we have any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interests or any other disclosable interests for anything on the agenda this evening? I suspect not, but just in case. Thank you. Okay. So Chairman's announcements, as this is my final meeting as Chair, I've got a little bit to rattle through, if you just excuse me for a minute. Firstly, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to Councillor Dwayne Hubbard, who I believe is sat just there, as he joins us for his first meeting of the Council this evening following his election in the Tenbury Ward by-election. A reminder that a further by-election is taking place and will be decided on Thursday, the 21st of May, 2026, to elect a councillor for Alfric, Lye and Rushwick Ward. Serving as the chairman of Malvern Hills District Council for the past 2 years has been one of the greatest honours of my life. Representing this great council in this great district is a privilege I will never forget, and I have never taken it for granted. I want to start by saying a massive thank you to all the councillors who have supported me, to the officers, in particular Nikki and Sheila, who have kept me on track with meetings and events, obviously to Misha, Vic and Bronwyn for all their support during meetings, and to John Rain and Pam Cummings, who have been wonderful vice chairs over these past 2 years. Everyone's support has been both vital and hugely appreciated. Everyone couldn't do enough. I also want to say a heartfelt thanks to my consort, my partner Becky, who has been both so supportive and so involved, and not just taking the glamorous trips that we've had to do, but also doing all the other bits and pieces. And also to my daughter Heather, who has attended a few events with me as well. While this role is an incredible honour, it's also a lot of work, with countless hours over the past 2 years. It is certainly not something I could have done alone or without that support. A personal highlight for me was holding my 2 civic services in my home village of Lower Broadheath. Both events were packed with family, friends, neighbours, councillors, MPs, mayors and fellow chairs. It was amazing for Lower Broadheath to host 2 such wonderful events in a truly magnificent location. In the last 2 months, I was also thrilled to invite chairs, mayors and local residents to Elgar's birthplace in Lower Broadheath. It was a fantastic opportunity to showcase this iconic Worcestershire landmark and promote our local tourism. From supporting our new orchard in Lower Broadheath and our annual 10K run to champion our local pubs and community events, it's been a joy to work so closely with what is a vibrant and growing community in Lower Broadheath, and one I am constantly proud to be part of. Even as I prepare to hand over the chains, my final week as chair has been incredibly busy, not least because, as you know, I think runners always talk about how they run all the time, don't they? I ran the London Marathon. On what turned out to be a hotter day than expected, those 26 miles flew by. It was a truly remarkable day. The crowds were amazing for every single mile, and those 6 or 7 months of training definitely paid off. I completed the run in 4 hours and 35 minutes, and I can safely say I've never consumed so much Lucozade in my life. It was an incredible day that really showed the best of people, both on the route and stood alongside it, as thousands and thousands of people, as you'll know, turn up and never stop clapping. But the thing that truly kept me going was the reason I was running, the Stroke Association. Thank you to everybody who donated. In those grueling final 6 miles, knowing I had people behind me pushing me towards a finish line is what seriously got me through. In the end, I raised £2,500 for this great charity. It's in my target, and I'm incredibly proud to have contributed to such a worthy cause. I plan to keep in touch with them and do more in the future, and I've also restarted my role as a trustee for Onside Advocacy, so I will no doubt be looking at some further fundraising with them too. As if these past few weeks couldn't have been any better, we recently received the news that my business, Allpro, which I think most of you are aware of, has been awarded the King's Award. We are one of only 3 businesses in the county to receive it, and it marks our 2nd Royal Award after receiving the Queen's Award in 2021. Between those 2 milestones, we also became a B Corp in 2023, one of the first in the county. The King's Award is specifically for enterprise and sustainability, which is something we passionately champion and strive to lead in as a business. We are one of only 32 businesses to receive it for sustainability, and it's been a big part of my business for the past 15 years. During my time as chair, we have certainly seen some controversial topics across the agenda. I remember our meeting on the Malvern Hills Trust Bill at the Abbey Hotel, discussions around SWDPR, and more recently, local government reorganisation. We have also seen changes within the makeup of the council itself. There has probably never been as turbulent a time. But throughout all of it, I have seen every single councillor contribute. I've seen every single councillor push this council forward and every councillor step up to serve their residents. Before I go back to sitting the right way around in the chamber and add these chains over to someone new, I just want to say one final massive thank you to all of you. In a few years' time, I have no doubt that people will look back and miss this council. Yet as we make way for the new authority, I hope our greatest strengths carry over. In an era of local politics where division too often takes the driver's seat, especially online, we have shown a different path. We have proven that true progress comes from consensus, from setting aside our differences to focus purely on the positive impact we can make for our residents. We haven't always agreed on everything, and I know there has been some dissatisfaction at times, but when it comes to advancing policy and supporting our residents, those differences have always been put to one side. I hope that is our legacy, and let that shared commitment be the foundation of whatever comes next. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, I told you that was long. Agenda item 4, election of the chairman of the council. Can I have nominations, please? John?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Beverly Nielsen.
Thank you. Is that find a seconder? Jeremy, thank you. Do you have any other nominations? No. Okay. That's the vote.
So all those in favour of Councillor Beverly Nielsen's nomination for the chair for 26-27, can you raise your cards now, please? And all those against? And all those abstaining? And that's clearly carried, Chair.
Thank you. I think with that, Beverly, we have a change around.
Read that out. Sign and date.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Daniel, for passing over the chain of office. And so I'm going to read out the Chairman's Declaration of Acceptance of Office. I, Beverly Nielsen, having been elected to the office of Chairman of the Council of the District of Malvern Hills, hereby declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of Malvern Hills District Council. I shall now sign. Date 12. Thank you. Want me to do that bit? Thank you very much, Vic. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, thank you all very much, and very great honour to be here. Right, the first of my duties as chairman is the election of vice chairman of the council. So I'd like to ask for nominations. So, John.
I'd like to nominate Pam Cumming as vice chair.
I would absolutely nominate Pam as vice chair. She stepped in last year and held us all to account, and I'm pretty confident she'll be able to do exactly the same this year. So I'm happy to second Pam. Thank you.
Jeremy, do we have any other nominations for vice chairman? Can't see.
So all those in favour of Councillor Cumming being vice chair for Council 26-27, could you raise your cards now, please? And all those against? And all those abstaining?
Thank you very much, and congratulations, Pam.
I, Pamela Cumming, having been elected to the office of Vice Chairman of the Council and of the District of Malvern Hills, hereby declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of Malvern Hills District Council. I fill this in like Beverly.
I'd like to congratulate Pam on your election and very much look forward to working with you over the next year. Thank you very much. Right, I shall move on to the next item, agenda item number 6, which is Chairman's announcements. I don't have a huge amount to say, and certainly not as much as Daniel, but I would, of course, like to thank those of you who voted for me for doing so. It's a great honour and one I take very seriously, and I very much look forward to undertaking this role over the course of the next year and representing our wonderful district, which I feel so proud to be a part of. Of course, I want to thank Daniel for being such a splendid chair for the past 2 years, and I think he's set a very high bar for chair of our council, and I've been personally particularly impressed by the funding he's raised for the 2 charities, really pushing the boat out in terms of his activities. I was really impressed by the walk from Brecon to the Beacon, especially as I found you one sort of rather misty morning, having recovered from being lost along the way. But it was a brilliant effort, that, and the London Marathon and the raising of the £2,500 for the Stroke Association, I think, is a really splendid effort. And I think Daniel, of course, is the latest in a long line of chairs that we can be really proud of. I think Barbara did a splendid job before, and none of us could ever forget the wing walk and her efforts for the Midlands Air Ambulance, which were really memorable. And I'd also like to thank all my predecessors because I think the council can be very proud of its chairman over the years and how they've represented the district and the council. I think they've done really, really well on our behalf. I've not really had time to think about my own activities in the coming year. I've had some early ideas which need fleshing out a bit. I would like to do something to support St. Richard's Hospice as one sort of strand of thought. And I'd also like to pick up on Daniel's rather athletic efforts and to do a triathlon this year. But I've got some way to go. So I'll keep you posted anyway on that. I would also like to thank our officers for their unstinting support and professionalism, working with myself and our fellow councillors over in my case, the last 5 years. I think they're really impressive, and I'm most grateful and look forward to working with you in this capacity. Thank you, Bron and Misha and others. I think you're a real credit to our council and our district. Steady hands as we move into the latter stages of our existence and transition to the new authority through the local government reorganisation process. And I'm very conscious of the need to be fair and objective and listen to all voices in this role. And that is something I will take very seriously as we move ahead. I do look forward to working with you all, to representing our council, and of course to working to support and represent the people of Malvern Hills to the best of my ability. So I'd like to now move forward to the rest of the agenda and to thank you once again for your confidence in me. So item 7, I would now like to ask for nominations for leader of the council. Do I have any nominations? Thank you, Jeremy.
I would like to nominate John Gallagher. It's been 18 months since we agreed to work together to try and leave a legacy behind after we all stepped down as councillors. We actually took that decision before we realised the unitary was coming in, and the unitary kind of made that a bit more poignant. I think John's done really well leading us over the last 18 months. He's been putting the local residents first, putting local politics first, and I would be delighted if he would lead us again for another 12 months. So I'm happy to nominate John.
Oh, thank you, Barbara.
Yeah. Thank you, Chairman. Yes, John has made a splendid job since he's been our leader, and he certainly has kept this council on an even keel. So I second the nomination.
Thank you, Barbara. Do we have any other nominations?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Councillor Natalie McVeigh. I think Natalie has two of the qualities that I most value, and that's authenticity and congruence. She is Natalie, and she stands up for everything she believes in. I'll pick up on something Daniel said in his speech, actually, about bringing this council together and everyone working together. And I know very much that Natalie would want to have, if she was leader, portfolios from all the groups. She would want to bring people together in the last 2 years, because at the moment, if you look, it is quite a divided council. The chairs aren't split between the groups. There wasn't a discussion about who could do what. There was none of that. There's quite a lot of vacancies across the piece. And I feel Natalie could perhaps bring together this council in the last 2 years and really do what Daniel said and share everything and use all the talents, because there is a lot of talent across the whole chamber. And it does feel very much at the moment that one half is not engaged and one is. And that's not really fair on the residents for the next 2 years. And so I would very much like to support Natalie.
Thank you, Councillor Rouse. Is there a seconder?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Council. I'm delighted to second Councillor Natalie McVeigh. She was a very good deputy leader. She always included everybody, and I believe if she was the leader, she would be very inclusive. And I think for the last 2 years, bringing the council together so everybody can contribute far more than perhaps some of us are able to at the moment would work incredibly well. We've just lost Councillor Peter Watley, who is a man of great stature, greater intelligence than I have. And I think it was a real shame that he went, but he had nothing to do. And this is a loss, not just for this council, but also for our residents as well. So I think Natalie would bring everybody together from all the parties. So I'm happy to second her. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Allen. Sure, can we take a vote for the first proposal? Thank you.
So we'll vote firstly on the first nomination, and that's for Councillor Gallagher. So all those in favour, could you raise your cards now, please? And all those against? And all those abstaining? Okay, and so that vote was 17 for, 10 against and 2 abstentions. So I'll now move to the nomination of Councillor Natalie McVeigh. All those in favour, please raise your cards now, please. And all those against, please raise your cards now. And all those abstaining? So the first vote has been won. So election of the leader is now Councillor Gallagher.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, Misha. So I'd like to move to item number 8 now, agenda item number 8, and ask for nominations for deputy leader. Councillor Gallagher.
Yeah. I'd like to nominate Jeremy Owenson on the basis that we've actually worked really well in this council over this last basically 18 months or so. And what's been remarkable is that all politics has been set aside, and we've actually, I think as Jeremy mentioned earlier, we've actually focused on localism, and I think that's a great credit to all our group, and particularly Jeremy for leading the Conservative group and be able to look at local issues and not get trapped into the national picture, which is really beyond us. So I'd like for Jeremy to carry on in that particular role.
Thank you, Councillor Gallagher. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Palmer.
Yes, I'd very much like to second Jeremy. He's become one part of us, really, and I wish him well. Sorry, yes, any other nominations? Thank you.
Yes, thank you again, Chair. Well, I'd like to recommend Councillor Mark Driscoll for the position of Vice Chair. Ever since he's joined this council, he's been a very hard-working councillor. I think he's a fairly decent man, a man who will support the whole council, not just one fraction of the council, and I believe he would support any leader, and I think he's definitely the man for the job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Allen. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Rouse.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly go off tangent because Martin reminded me that I forgot earlier to say, could I put on record somewhere, our thanks to Councillor Watley for all his hard work. I couldn't find it in the agenda anywhere, but this is the first meeting after he's resigned. And like you say, if anyone's read his resignation email to the parish councils, it's worth a read. But just if we could note somewhere, our thanks to Peter. And I think he's off on a jolly somewhere foreign again. But on that note, I would just like to second Mark. I think I very much agree with Martin. He's a very articulate and educated and gentle person who could heal what actually is a rift in this council. I hear there's great unity on one side, but over here, and that is why Peter's gone, there's nothing to do. We're not engaged. There's not a way in. We're all a bit bored. And we would perhaps like some more engagement in it. And I think Mark could bring that about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rouse. I think now we go to the vote. Is that right? Thank you. On the first proposal.
Okay, so for election of the deputy leader, for the first nomination of Councillor Owenson, all those in favour, please raise your cards now. And all those against? And all those abstaining? Okay. And for the second nomination for deputy leader, all those for Councillor Driscoll, please raise your cards now. And all those against? And all those abstaining? So, Chair, the vote is clearly carried. So the election of deputy leader is Councillor Jeremy Owenson.
Thank you very much, Misha, and thank you, Council, for your engagement with that. I'd like to now invite the leader to move the recommendation in the report for the appointments to committees, subcommittees and panels. Thank you. Councillor Gallagher.
Thank you, Chair. We have a couple of contested areas and some that aren't contested at all. So I propose that those uncontested areas we vote through as a block and the contested areas we take individually. So if I start with the block vote, get that out of the road. So that's for the list in front of you on Overview and Scrutiny, Licensing and Appeals Committee, Audit and Standards, Appointments, Disciplinary and Investigations Committee, the Joint Shared Appointments Committee, Policy Development Panels, Health and Wellbeing, the Economy and Tourism and the Environment, and the Member Development Group, the Joint Working Advisory Board, the Northern Area Planning Committee, Chair and Vice Chairs, the South Area Planning Committee, Chair and Vice Chair, and the South Worcestershire Development Plan Joint Advisory Panel, the Worcestershire Regulatory Services Board, and the Malvern Hills National Landscape Partnership, Worcestershire Health and Wellbeing Board, the Worcestershire Health Overview and Scrutiny Committee, and the Herefordshire and Worcestershire Strategic Waste Management Board, and the West Mercia Police and Crime Panel. All the names allocated on the sheet there are uncontested, so I propose that they are carried.
Sorry, Lee.
Okay, so we'll do that. Yes.
Could I ask for a seconder, please, to that proposal? Thank you, John Michael, Councillor Michael, thank you. I think we go to the vote. Yes, Misha, can you take a vote,
So
please?
all those in favour of the appointments as per the sheet in front of you, bar the Patrol Adjudication Joint Committee, please raise your hands now. And all those against? And all those abstaining? So that's clearly
Councillor Owenson for the Patrol Adjudication Joint Committee.
Do I have a second for that? Thank you.
Happy to second that. Thank you, Chair.
Oh dear, sorry, Councillor Wells.
Chairman, thank you. It gives me great pleasure to have the opportunity to say a few nice things about John Raine. John Raine is an iconic figure within this council. He's been thereabouts for a very, very long time. And across parties, I'm sure we all respect his contributions. Now, I've done a bit of research on John Raine in relation to this. First of all, it's the Parking and Traffic Regulation Outside London Patrol. There you go. I don't know if many people in the room knew that acronym. And it so happens that John was the tutor of one of the first directors of this esteemed organisation, which just gives you an example of how John has permeated his way through not just local government, but the public sector more generally. And whilst I recognise that usually this would fall within the remit.
John's been chairman. John's been chairman of the Council for Amney.
I think we now go to the vote. Thank you, Misha.
So for the first nomination, if all those in favour of Councillor Jeremy Owenson having this position, please raise your cards now. And all those against, please raise your cards now. And all those abstaining, please raise your cards now. Okay, and all those voting in favour of the nomination for Councillor John Raine, please raise your cards now. And all those against, please raise your cards now. And all those abstaining? Okay, that vote is with Councillor Jeremy Owenson with 14 votes for, as opposed to Councillor John Rains, 11 votes for. So that nomination goes to Councillor Owenson.
Thank you very much, Misha. Thank you, Council, for your voting there. And I think
Thank you, Chair. I've only got a couple of national perspectives to add to my report. A veteran strategy was launched into 2025, which has 3 themes of celebrate, contribute and support. Locally, an action plan has been developed aligning to the veteran strategy. Valor is a new national programme under the support part of the veteran strategy, designed to make it easier for veterans across the UK to in health and education. The new areas will also include areas such as childcare, immigration, transport and welfare benefits. And then sort of another local issue, or not issue, celebration. The town band in Tenbury will be holding its annual concert on Saturday in the Regal, and we have guests from the former Worcestershire Sherwood Foresters Regiment Band, and also including the former director of music for the Coldstream Guards. So if anyone wants a night out, you're welcome to come to Tenbury.
thank you very much, Councillor Bruton, and thank you so much for your services on our behalf as our Armed Forces Members Champion. Very, very grateful to you. I'd like to now move on to Councillor Wiles' report as Health and Wellbeing Member Champion. Anything you'd like to add in addition, or are you?
Yes, thank you, Chair. My report is included in the agenda and I'll take it as read by everyone, but I have a few brief remarks to support it. First, I want to thank this council, all of this council and its officers for their continued work in supporting health and wellbeing across Malvern Hills District. That work provides the foundation for everything we are able to achieve as a district. As we move into May, we enter one of the busiest periods in the public health calendar, with a range of national campaigns, from National Walking Month and Mental Health Week to raising awareness of stroke, Lyme disease and type 2 diabetes, and including work on maternal mental health, deaf inclusion and emotional well-being. These national campaigns provide a valuable platform, but their impact is only felt when they are brought to life locally. And this is what happens here at Malvern Hills. I also want to recognise and thank our partners, health champions, volunteers, charities and community organisations across the district. So much of what supports wellbeing happens quietly in our communities, in village halls, local groups, activities and support networks, and through the work of volunteers who give their time to help others when they are most in need. Whether you are promoting local